Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 438th Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. Straight away you'll see this is fought on the flat grassy map in a winter scenario. Okay, our first teammate is Brotherhood member Legion 22, who's bought the Rome Scipio faction. Now Legion has got 10 infantry, 4 archers and 6 cavalry. Okay, if we look at the upgrades on his infantry, you'll see that he's got 7 upgrades. He's got an experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack. Okay, so he's got good upgrades on his infantry, but only 10 infantry. Will those upgrades, do you think, make up for that? He's actually got mixed upgrades because several of his units have only got gold shield, gold attack. As he's got his 6 cavalry. Let's have a quick look at the upgrades of his cavalry. Okay, he's got 7 upgrades. So he's got an experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack. So that's an interesting army build, but will 10 infantry cut it on the modern day battlefield? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Okay, our next teammate is Brotherhood member STEVELONGSHANKS, who's bought his faction of choice, which is Greek cities, and he's got 12 Spartans and 4 archers. Okay, if you have a quick look at the upgrades, he's got mixed upgrades on his infantry. He's got 7 upgrades there, an experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack on I think half of his Spartans, or maybe five of his Spartans maybe, and the other units he's just got gold shield, gold attack on. But remember, Spartans with their 2 hit points and excellent specifications, gold shield, gold attack is pretty good. But putting an experience stripe on, that makes them super infantry. So that's an interesting army build there. Okay, our next teammate is Brotherhood member BARC, who's bought the Carthage faction. Now BARC has got 15 Sacred Band Spearmen, 3 Sacred Band Cavalry and 1 fast moving round shield cavalry. See the upgrades on his Sacred Band infantry, 8 upgrades, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. And there you can see he's got his Sacred Band heavy cavalry there, which have got gold shield, gold attack on. And here's a cavalry unit you don't see very often, the round shield cavalry. Okay, they're fast moving light cavalry. You don't see them brought to the 31k battlefield much, so it'll be interesting to see how well they do. So that's an interesting Carthage army build there. Should be interesting to see how well it does during the course of the battle. Okay, our next teammate is myself, Spartan Commander, who's got his very, very old Roman army of 12 infantry and 6 cavalry. So there's our team, quite diverse. I think 2 Romes, Greek cities and Carthage, but you wait till you see the other team. It should be a great one for you to watch. And here is the other team. We have Brotherhood member TRAJAN, who has bought 9 pikes, 2 legionnaires, silver shield legionnaires, 3 archers and 6 cataphract cavalry. Okay, so 9 pikes, 2 silver shield legionnaires, 3 archers and 6 cataphracts there. If you look at the upgrades on his pikes there, you'll see there 7 upgrades, an experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack. And as I say, got 3 archers and 6 cataphracts. Let's have a look at the upgrades on his cataphracts. Okay, he's got 7 upgrades on his cataphract cavalry. Experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack there. And as you can see, we call these the tanks of the ancient world because they're armoured from head to toe. So that's an interesting Seleucid army build. And unusual to see TRAJAN bring Seleucid. Okay, their next teammate is Brotherhood member ESRAX, who has bought the Macedon faction. Now ESRAX has got 13 pikes, 2 archers and 5 cavalry. Let's have a look at the upgrades on his pikes there. My guess is he'll probably have staggered upgrades. Okay, yeah, can you see his forward units in his battle formation have just got 6 upgrades, just gold shield, gold attack. Now, of course, these guys are going to make the first contact with the enemy. If you look at the 2 lines behind them, can you see they've got 8 upgrades, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. So let's say the forward elements will take the pillars and make the first contact with the enemy, and then the tired enemy troops will fight through them and then come up against the elite, well upgraded units there. So nice staggered upgrades there for ESRAX's formation. As you know, very good 31k player, and his 5 cavalry have just got gold shield, gold attack on there, as he spent most of his money on his infantry. So that's an interesting army build there, I think. Their next teammate is Brotherhood member CONAN, who's bought the Rome SPQR faction. Now CONAN has just got 8 infantry, 4 cavalry, 6 archers. Have a look at the upgrades on his 8 infantry. Okay, so he's got 7 upgrades on his infantry, an experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack. Okay, so it's great to have an experience stripe on there, but only 8 infantry. He's got his 4 cavalry. My guess is that they will be quite upgraded. Well upgraded. There you go. He's got 8 upgrades on his cavalry, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. Remember, this Praetorian cavalry is great with just gold shield, gold attack. You put 2 experience stripes on them, and that kind of makes him super cavalry. Okay, so he's got a small army there, but well upgraded infantry and cavalry wise. He's got the old school Roman armoured cavalry general. Remember, we used to use this, we all used to use this up to about 9 years ago, when most of us changed to an infantry general. So this is genuinely old school, out of the old school drawer there. So I'd be interested to see how well he does with that. And then he's got 6 archers. Okay, so that's an interesting army build there, but only 8 infantry. Okay, the next teammate is Brotherhood member Lando. Now Lando's got 18 urban cohorts, 2 cavalry. Okay, 18 urban cohorts and 2 cavalry. Now remember, those 18 urban cohorts can throw, get ready for this, 4,428 pilers. 4,428 pilers. So they can do a heck of a lot of damage before they even get into hand-to-hand combat. Okay, so that'd be an interesting army build there. Right, so there's the other team. This should be a great one for you to watch, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, at this very, very early stage of the battle, we both know that both Lando and Conan are very aggressive attacking players. And if they both got their fast moving armoured cavalry general, the old school cavalry generals there, my guess is that they will make a fast beeline for our team there. Maybe looking to target soft targets like our archers. Now remember, those general armoured units, very good specifications. I think they got 2 hit points. And if they are used correctly, they can be very disruptive, is how I would say them. They like to disrupt the enemy team if they can. As I say, probably going for Steve's archers there, knowing that Steve won't have cavalry support, because obviously Greek cities don't usually bring cavalry. So what I'm thinking here is that Conan or either Lando with their fast moving cavalry generals will go for Steve's archers there, if they get a chance. Okay, but I see our Carthage ally there has got his cavalry close by Steve, so they might not try that. But as they're both very aggressive, I wouldn't bet any money on that. Okay, right, can you see Lando coming in here? Going for one of Steve's Cretan archer units there. Steve spotted it, bring a spear unit across there. But look at that, look, that unit there, that archer unit's just been knocked. That's 66 men from 82, just with that impact of that cavalry general. So Steve is down to 66 men in that one archer unit there. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if Lando started to ride that cavalry general around like we've seen him do before. Let's just pause the game for a second. Okay, now Steve's got expensive Cretan archer. As I say, that one unit's been knocked down to 66 men from that one impact. Now, what Lando will do here, he'll ride that general unit around like we've seen him do in other battles, attract him enemy archers. Now, remember, those Cretan archers are expensive, and those arrows that are being fired are expensive as well. And if they're just firing at Lando's fast-moving cavalry general there, the vast majority of those arrows will be wasted. It's like throwing money down the drain kind of thing of the expensive units that you've spent lots of money on. So Steve's targeting that general there, but most of those arrows won't do any damage at all to Lando's fast-moving cavalry general there. Okay, so that's what Lando likes doing. He likes riding that unit fast around in front of enemy lines, trying to attract expensive archers fire onto him. Because of course those expensive arrows that are being fired at him, the vast majority will miss. And of course once they've been fired, you can't get them back. And so he's saving a lot of his own units from getting damage from those arrows there by attracting those arrows onto that fast moving general unit there. Okay, so that's a nice little tactic there. Newer players to Rome Total War, if you fancy bringing an armoured cavalry general there, you may want to try that yourself. But just be very aware of your general's position in there. Okay, can you see ESRAX there has brought his couple of Cretan archers over there to target maybe the flank of our team, or maybe even try and target some of Steve's archers there. Steve's archers have already been targeted by Conan's 6 archer units there, and a lot of Steve's archers have already been taken out. If you notice here, can you see Lando moving his 18 infantry forward towards my army of 12 infantry? Okay, he's got a 6 infantry advantage over my army here. So he may well try an aggressive attack using his weight of numbers to try and break my army there. I'm going to move over closer towards Steve. Now at this stage of the battle here, can you see that BARC is taking his whole Carthage a Sacred Band army over to Legion on our right flank. Okay. So if you notice here, there's just me and Steve here on the left flank and left centre. Okay. But as I say, BARC has taken his spearmen over towards Legion there. Now what I think BARC's thinking of here is trying to neutralise any big cavalry attack on Legion. Plus he's going to be facing those pikemen there. Now we know Carthage punches above its own weight when it faces pikes, so probably BARC would like to engage Macedon up. But look at the gap between BARC and Steve. Now can the enemy exploit that gap? Get in between us. Get in behind us there through that gap. What do you think? They may well do that. But as I say now, with BARC moving over to the right, see, every move he's making over to the right, he is increasing the gap. Now Steve may well see this and move his Greek cities over there to try and, if you see, lessen the gap there. So that's what Steve's probably going to try and do. Now remember, every time we're moving there, if Conan wants to, he can target the rear of our troops as we're moving backwards. But he's probably still targeting Steve's Cretan archers there. So Steve's moved back a bit there, which was a good move. And if you notice, I've moved my infantry back as well towards our allies. We don't want that gap between us to get any bigger. As I say, the enemy could exploit that, and that would be bad news for us. But as I say, can you see Lando running his 18 urban cohorts forward here? As I say, what do we say? He's got 4,428 pilers. There's Steve. Now, whether Steve's going to engage Lando here, he may well do that, or he may pull back to link up with our Carthage ally there. We just have to wait to see what Steve decides. You see, I've moved my infantry back there as well. But as it stands at the moment, our right flank has got our two allies there of Legion and BARC to face, maybe just stop the cavalry attack coming in there. That's why those spears are there. And you've got those two enemy pike factions that may well move into us there. But at this stage of the battle, it looks like it could be two distinct battles here. One on the left flank and left centre, with that gap in between us, and one on the right flank and right centre there. Right, can you see ESRAX has decided to move his Macedonian army over here towards Steve's Greek cities. Okay. So actually we've got Conan, Lando and ESRAX here over looking on the left flank. But as I say, that gap between Steve and BARC's Carthage army and a Greek cities ally there is quite a lot. If you see that armoured cavalry general there just ran in there to attack the archers. Another nice fast move there by Lando's cavalry general. Just ran in there, caused some more casualties with our archers there, hopefully trying to attract more expensive arrows to be shot at him there. Let's see how he's just running around. Come on, shoot at me with your expensive arrows, is kind of what he's saying, because you won't do a lot of damage, as I say, to that unit. Okay, so there's a general overview of the battle at the moment, but as you can see, we have got a big gap between our Greek cities ally and our allies on the right there. Okay, right, can you see Steve moving forward aggressively now towards Lando's front? Now, it wouldn't surprise me if Lando starts to move his troops back. Right, can you see Lando is actually withdrawing his troops there, trying to draw Steve further away from us. Okay, so then you've got Conan and the Macedonians there can move in on Steve's flank. Okay, so make no mistake here, Lando's trying to draw Steve forward here so his flank will be exposed. Now meanwhile on our right flank here, can you see BARC is running his entire spear army, Sacred Band army there, towards Trajan's cataphract cavalry, trying to chase them away, I think, from Legion's infantry. But of course that cavalry just keep falling back, trying to draw our Carthage ally away from his allies there, where the Seleucid cavalry and Macedonian Seleucid pikes and the Macedonian cavalry could charge into Legion's infantry. Okay, but look at the gap between us there. That is quite bad news. Veterans watching this, what do you think about that? And of course the enemy could exploit that gap if they wanted to. We'll just have to wait and see. Okay, if you see Conan's got his archers there, he'll be targeting our archers. And if he gets a chance to target our cavalry, he will be very grateful about that. Right, can you see Steve moving forward here now? I think Steve's probably going to realise here that his flank is going to be exposed there if he keeps moving forward. So it wouldn't surprise me if he upped spears and ran back. We just have to wait and see what he decides there. Okay, if you notice there, can you see Steve has upped his spears so he can run. And he's decided to go for, looks like Conan's infantry there. Okay, let's just pause the game for a second. Okay, so over on our right flank here, BARC is chasing down the enemy troops there, but can you see the Seleucid generals pulling his pikes back, trying to draw BARC away from us there, trying to get him to chase his pikes, and then maybe when he's chasing his pikes, the Seleucid cavalry could get in behind with the Macedonian cavalry and smash into the back of BARC's infantry there. I think that's a tactical move there by the enemy team, but as I say here, you can see Steve moving in to the attacking, I think it's Conan's infantry. And make no mistake there, Conan will really be peppering Steve's Greek city units there with pilers, as you can see. But remember, those Greek city units, the Spartan units, have got 2 hit points and suffer a lot less damage from missiles than any other units in the game. Okay, so Steve now is aggressively attacking Conan's army. It wouldn't surprise me if Conan pulled his army back towards his Macedonian ally. And looks like that's what he's going to do. Look, he's going to pull back towards his Macedonian ally in the hope that the Macedonian ally will bring those long pikes to bear onto Steve's short spearmen there. Okay, once again, a nice tactical move there by the other team. But as I say, we're pretty spread out here, our team. Look at BARC chasing down the enemy cavalry. As I say, that enemy cavalry just keep pulling back, drawing BARC away from his allies there. And then you can see Legion here with his 10 infantry up against all those, possibly up against all those pikes. Meanwhile, over here on our left flank here, you can see Lando moving his 18 infantry forward. Okay, now I've got my cavalry there. If you look closely at the right, and you'll see my cavalry is hiding in the long grass. Okay, so my cavalry units are hiding in the long grass. The enemy aren't completely sure probably where my cavalry are. They know I've got cavalry and they know it's hiding, but they're probably not sure. And if they attack my infantry, I'll come out the long grass and smash into them, into the flank of them with that cavalry if I get the chance. But as I say, at the moment, they're probably not 100% sure of where my cavalry are because they're hiding. But as I say, Lando bringing his 18 units across here. And with all those pilers that he can throw in. But the thing that's worrying me for Steve is those Macedonians there with those long pikes. That's what's worrying me. If they start to engage him heavily there, plus that Roman SBQR infantry, then we may well have trouble here on our left centre. We just have to wait and see. Notice Steve's moving his Greek cities back. He could see what was coming there. He could see that there was going to be a joint attack there. Can you see it? I'm exchanging pilers here with the enemy SBQR infantry. Reduce that 1 unit down to 30 men. Okay, so I'm going to pull my infantry back in line with Steve. Steve could see what was coming there, all that SBQR infantry plus the Macedonian pikes on his army. So he's decided to pull back there and link up with Legion's Scipio units there. As I say, I'm moving my infantry back as well to stay linked up with Steve. I notice there's been a lot of tactical moves in this battle. So as I say, I'm moving my units back. Meanwhile, over on our right flank here, can you see that BARC is still trying to chase down the enemy cavalry with his Sacred Band infantry? Chasing off that cavalry there. And if you notice, Legion's brought his cavalry units over to help him there. So my guess is now that BARC will link up with Legion's right flank to give him some support there against any pike attack. Okay, can you see ESRAX now has moved his Macedonians forward here to engage the Greek cities. Now, can you see the Macedonian general there? I don't think I'm going to put my general in the front line there. I think I'm going to keep my general at the back, knowing that Macedonian morale is not very good. Look at the length of the Macedonian pikes against the short Spartan spears. Can you see the length, the massive length of those pikes there? As I say, against those short Spartan spears. Now those Spartans have got to fight all the way down those pikes to kill the man on the other end. Okay, with their great attacking specifications and 2 hit points, they are elite infantry, but that's what they've got to do. They've got to fight all the way down those pikes. As I say, the Macedonian general being in the front line against the Greek cities, not sure that's what I would have done. As I say, knowing that Macedonian morale is not very good, I think the Macedonian general might have been better behind his troops there, giving them morale bonus and not putting himself at risk. Steve now may well attack, seeing the Macedonian general there. He may well press forward with his Greek cities, looking to take that Macedonian general out. Okay, but make no mistake though, Greek cities fighting the long pikes of Macedonian is always a 50-50 chance there. And if you notice that ESRAX is bringing more reinforcements in, more long pikes, you've got the SBQR infantry in on Steve there. So I think our left centre is looking quite threatened there by the sheer weight of enemy numbers coming in on Steve. Meanwhile, over on our right flank here, you can see BARC is on our right flank. He may need to send some units over to back up Steve in the left centre there. Okay, he may well have to do that, because I can see Steve's units in this attritional battle in this particular area are starting to lose the attritional battle. Can you see several of Steve's Greek city units are starting to rout now? Sheer weight of numbers and those long pikes routing Steve's units there. So our left centre is in danger of breaking, and that would be catastrophic, I think. So if BARC can just get some of his Sacred Band units over here to back up Steve, try and shore up our left centre, that would be a great move there. Right, as you can see here, can you see Lando's moving his infantry around the rear of his allies there. Now what I might do is a left flanking action here, trying to draw infantry away from a left centre there. If you notice here, can you see I'm moving around to the right, trying to disrupt the enemy line here, trying to upset any strategy that they might be thinking of there by moving around here. Okay, so there you go, the Macedonian general is now dead, and that's because he was put in the front line there. And so, as we know, Macedon has not got very good morale, and now their general's dead. That is extremely bad news for them. Newer players, Jerome Total War, watching this, let's say bad news for them there. Okay, right. As you can see here, Seleucid and Macedonian and SBQR units are pushing in on Steve. Steve, I think, is holding extremely well, bearing in mind the numbers of enemy troops and the type of troops that are attacking him with those long pikes. BARC is over here, holding against some Macedonian and Seleucid troops there, but he may well need to get some of his spearmen over to back up Steve. See Legion there as well. Now I don't know what Legion's going to do, whether he's going to try and outflank the pikemen here, or whether he's going to go over to help Steve. Okay, but if you notice here, as I say, I'll move around to the left here, trying to disrupt and be a nuisance to the enemy, hoping to bring some units over here. But the units that I didn't want to bring over here is all their cavalry. And if you notice, they've brought all their cavalry over here with a view to hit my army. Okay, that would be Lando's infantry, all that Seleucid cavalry, all that Macedonian cavalry, and the SBQR cavalry would look to hit my army here, because I'm a little bit exposed to move around. So I'm now going to move my army back. I can see what the enemy's looking to do there with their cavalry, so I'm going to do a tactical withdrawal and hold my ground there. Seleucid cavalry looked like it was going to charge in, and then saw that my cavalry was settled, saw that my infantry was settled and stopped, and decided to pull that cavalry back. Okay, Legion's brought his cavalry over to the left flank, because he's seen all the enemy cavalry has moved over to my flank here. As I say, looking probably with a view to try and take out my army. Okay, so bad news for us. Just going to pause the game for a second. After a fierce fight, our left centre has now been broken. Okay, Steve held really well there against the numbers and type of troops he was fighting, but our left centre has now been broken, and make no mistake, the enemy could pour through that gap now and either go round to the left here and attack my infantry in the flank or the rear, or they could go the other way and attack our Carthage ally and our Scipioid ally over on that flank. So after a fierce fight, as you see, our left centre has now been broken. And as I say, the enemy could exploit that and pour through that gap now with SBQR troops and those Macedonian troops as well. Okay, meanwhile, over on our right flank here, you can see, as we thought, Legion was going to do a flanking action on those pikemen there, trying to get in behind them. Okay, so he's got some units in behind them there, but those units are being engaged by SBQR infantry, and I can see a lot of heavy cataphract cavalry coming over there as well. Okay, so those two units that he's got around the rear could well be taken out. 2 or 3 units he's got around the rear could be taken out. Well, he's got the rest of his units engaging and pinning and holding those Macedonian troops. But as I say, those cataphract cavalry coming across there, looks like they could hit his units there and then get over there. They could then route those units, get over to this area here, and then smash into the rear of his engaged troops there, including his general. Okay. So, as I say, with our left centre broken and enemy cavalry superiority, I don't think things are looking kind of very good for our team at the moment. Okay, so as I say, those heavy Seleucid cataphract cavalry charging, and then the SBQR cavalry, bang, charging into the rear of Legion's unit. Remember, Legion's got 7 upgrades on a lot of his infantry, gold, so that's gold shield, gold attack, and a stripe. And I think that unit held there because that's probably one of the units with the stripes there when it got smashed into the rear. Right, there's Macedonian cavalry over here as well. So all the enemy cavalry now have switched from the other flank over to this flank. Well, the Seleucids and the Macedonians have anyway. Okay, so I want to draw your attention here to what we're doing with our cavalry, and bang, as we smash in with all our cavalry into that one particular part. We've smashed our cavalry into the left centre there where we'd been breached. Okay, all my cavalry charging in there. I'm throwing infantry in there as well. You've got Legion's cavalry charging in and BARC's cavalry charging in there. And what we're trying to do is take out that enemy SPQR cavalry. We know there's Macedonian pikes in there as well, but as the Macedonian general's dead, those pikemen may well rout when they see a lot of their allies rout there. So that's all our cavalry there have smashed in. Plus you've got BARC's Sacred Band spear units there moving forward to engage the enemy as well. We're really trying to shore up this left centre of ours, which as you saw earlier had been completely broken. Okay, right, let's just pause the game for a second. So all our cavalry now are engaged in there, plus I got infantry thrown in there. Meanwhile, over on our right flank here, can you see that Macedonian cavalry, as we thought, charging into the rear of Legion's engaged troops there? Legion needs to pull his general back. Right, Legion's seen the threat and has moved his general back there. But I think if I remember, Legion's general actually had 8 upgrades, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. So it's going to take a lot to kill his general. But meanwhile, over here in our left centre, you can see our massive cavalry attack. Our Sacred Band ally there taking spear units there. I've got Scipio units in there as well. As I say, I think we've shored up our left centre there quite well. We've stopped them being able to pour through there with massive cavalry attacks. Plus, as I say, we've put infantry in there to plug the gap. Okay, so we've actually plugged the breach there with Sacred Band units and my Scipio infantry against those enemy SPQR infantry and those Macedonians there. Okay, you can see Bart's got a couple of his units there trying to hold the centre, but the Seleucid pikes units there could come through that gap and maybe go into the back of our Carthage ally. I see Steve's general there. He may well move forward to try and stop that if he can. But meanwhile, over on our right flank here, Legion's still got a couple of his units. What's he got? 4 battle damaged units there, plus our Carthage Sacred Band ally there holding the right flank against all that infantry and cavalry. If that Macedonian cavalry gets in behind us, it could smash into the rear of our engaged troops, and that would probably be the end of our right flank there. Okay, so with all the enemy cavalry activity going on here, over on our left flank, Conan's well upgraded cavalry is fresh and stood on the left flank ready to engage. Right, see that cataphract cavalry charging in there, and bang, as that cavalry charges in, smashes straight into some of my engaged Scipio units there. Remember though that my Scipio army is an old army with most of my units got an experience stroke, so they're going to fight longer than just gold shield, gold attack upgrades. So that's why they managed to stand their ground there. Okay, you can see Legion charging his cavalry in there. And you can see the cataphract cavalry counter-attacking Legion's cavalry and infantry units there. Okay, so let's just pause the game for a second here. So as I said, you can see the enemy cataphract cavalry counter-attacking there. Meanwhile, over on our right flank, you can see the Macedonian cavalry with ESRAX there is charged into the rear of those of our Carthage allies infantry there, the spearmen. But I think by the looks of it, BARC might have spotted that and have turned his spearmen to face that threat. But that was a nice hit there by ESRAX trying to rout those Carthage Sacred Band well. His SBQR ally is charging in the front. You've got lots of Macedonian and Seleucid pikes there moving forward onto our Carthage ally there. There you can see there's a gap there. They could move forward there into the rear. One Seleucid unit is already behind our Carthage Sacred Band ally. And if you notice here, I'm just going to charge my cavalry in there to try and counter attack those Seleucid cataphract cavalry. Okay, so you can see my cavalry charging in there. Also, if I can hit that SPQR infantry as well, I'd like to try and take out as many of those units as I can, or in fact weaken them if I can there. You can see Legion's cavalry coming in behind mine as well. We're looking to take out as many of Lando's infantry as we can. Right, so my cavalry is engaged with the enemy SPQR infantry. Legion's cavalry is engaged, but like I just said a few minutes ago, Conan's cavalry, fresh, all intact, are in behind us now. And if he uses those carefully, he's going to smash into the rear of our engaged troops, and that could be the end of the game there. That could be the deciding factor there Conan's 5 fresh cavalry. While our cavalry are away here charging into the enemy SPQR troops, those 5 SPQR cavalry could well make the difference. Okay, I've hit that SPQR infantry. I'm pulling my cavalry back. I've seen the SPQR cavalry in behind us. I'm going to engage them. And bang, as we charge in there. Legion's cavalry is also in there as well. So both Legion and my cavalry there are engaging the SPQR cavalry. So we're charging in there. I see Steve's thrown his Greek city general in there. And also I'm going to throw some of my infantry units there. Can you see I'm throwing some of my infantry units in there as well. As I say, Legion's cavalry has just attacked those SPQR cavalry as well. So now Conan is wisely pulling his own cavalry back. Right, the Cataphract cavalry are taking advantage of our cavalry being away and smashed into our units there, routing another one of my infantry units. But we're going to chase down Conan's cavalry here. We need to really finish them off if we can. We don't want a well upgraded enemy cavalry in behind us. Okay, 2 of Legion's cavalry units have just been taken out, so I'm now going to charge my cavalry in here to engage the enemy SPQR cavalry. What I would like to do is take out that SPQR general. Okay, that's what my aim is. Those of you that watch our battle videos regularly will know that's what I'm aiming for, the general there. If you notice, I've alt-attacked. My guys are fighting with their heavy swords. Right, we've routed the enemy SPQR general, and that was a goal I wanted to do there. Get rid of that SPQR general, take the morale bonus away. You notice I'm throwing 2 more infantry units into the fray. Okay, over on our right flank here, you can see our Carthage and Scipiite ally there engaging Macedonian troops there and engaging the Seleucid pikemen there as well. But look there, you can see that gap there the enemy could pull through and either go over there and attack the rear of our units or come around here and attack the Carthage general. Okay, so we're still up against a lot of those long pikemen there. Okay, you can see the Seleucid cavalry charging in yet again into one of my infantry units. But as I said before, remember mine is an old army. Most of my units have got an experienced stripe on, so they're going to hold longer than just gold shield, gold attack infantry. They say that Seleucid cavalry charging, make no mistake, he will be alt-attacking, using his effective against armor maces against my infantry, but that unit is still going to hold. Meanwhile at the rear, okay, we've just taken out the SPQR cavalry general there. And just going to take out the other SPQR units. Right, I'm going to ask you a tactical attack question now. If you were in charge of my cavalry here, okay, we've just taken out most of the SPQR units there, so I'm going to move my cavalry somewhere else. Okay, now looking at the battlefield in general, where would you move my cavalry? Would you charge my cavalry over there, maybe to take out those archer units that have been shooting into us mercilessly all through the battle? What about taking my cavalry over here? Over here, maybe engaging these battle damaged SPQR infantry. Is that something that you would do with my cavalry? Maybe come over there and take them out? What about using my cavalry here? Maybe attacking the SPQR unit, maybe going into the flank of those Seleucid pikemen. Okay. Okay, my cavalry is battle damaged, but it's still effective. So where would you use my cavalry on that battlefield, do you think, if you were in charge of them? Interesting. Okay, so as far as I'm concerned now, we've taken out the main SPQR threat. Right, can you see I'm now moving my cavalry out to the right. Now what I'm looking to do here is get behind the enemy. So I'm going to move my cavalry in a wide berth right the way round behind the enemy here. Okay, obviously what I want to do is smash into the rear of engaged enemy troops. So I'm going to take my cavalry on a wide berth here right the way round behind the enemy team. Okay. That's where I want to go, because I know that there's going to be good targets there, hopefully, behind the enemy team, smashing into the rear of them. Meanwhile, the Carthage general here is being attacked on 3 sides. Seleucid pikemen and the Macedonian unit has got in behind him, so the Carthage general's in danger of being taken out. Okay, he's got some Sacred Band units there, which I think he's fighting that SPQR unit with, but he may well want to get those units over there to help his general. Okay, as I say, I'm taking my battle damaged cavalry around behind the enemy there. They are extremely battle damaged, but I think they can still be effective if I pick the right targets to use. Okay, so I'm going to try and get in behind the enemy team there, and if possible smash into the rear of their engaged troops. Okay, so that's what I want to do with my cavalry. Okay, I thought, if you don't want me to say, I thought it was good battlefield awareness there. It's not picking on other targets, but just wanting to get in behind the enemy that I'd spotted there or engaged, and I could smash my cavalry into the rear of those tired, engaged enemy troops and that would be good for us. Okay, I can see some of our Carthage allies routing there. I can see some of my Scipii infantry starting to rout there under the pressure of those enemy pikes. Okay, so pause the game for a second. Right, so there's one of my infantry just routing. There's one of BARC's infantry routing there. We've got enemy troops pressing in on us with those long pikes. We've got SPQR infantry attacking us as well. Things not looking very good here. Meanwhile, over on our right flank, as I say, the Carthage general here is being almost engulfed by enemy long pike troops. Steve sent his general over to hit into the rear of that Seleucid unit there, trying to help out our Carthage ally. Now, our Carthage ally's got a lot of pikemen there. I think he needs to bring them over to help his general there. You've got Carthage, you've got Seleucid heavy cataphracts there ready to move in as well. But as I said, you can see the poor Carthage general there is being engulfed. Right, can you see my battle damaged cavalry? I'm looking to charge into the rear of engaged enemy troops here. Now, those engaged enemy troops are tired. I'm hoping that the impact of my cavalry will cause them to rout. Okay, here's my battle damaged cavalry charging in, and bang, as I smash into the rear of those engaged enemy troops. At the same time, can you see I'm running my infantry forward? It's not a hammer and anvil attack, it's a sandwich attack there, with my infantry charging forward from one side and my cavalry from the other. So it's a Seleucid and Macedon sandwich attack there, with the bread being the Scipii troops there, if you see what I mean. So that was a nice hit there. I'm glad I took those two units out. I'm now going to move my cavalry back. I'm looking to take out that Seleucid general. Right, there you go. The Seleucid general has just now been routed. So I've used my cavalry once again. As I say, my cavalry is extremely battle damaged, but still effective if you choose the right targets. Okay. But meanwhile, on our right flank over here, it looks like the Carthage general has been taken out. And now the Carthage Sacred Band units are engaging the Seleucid and Macedon pikemen there. There's an SPQR unit just charged into, cavalry unit just charged into the rear of one of our allies there. Right, can you see I'm bringing my cavalry over again, looking to smash into the rear of that Seleucid pike unit there, trying to take that pike unit out. But he actually saw me coming in and turned his pikes to face, so I need to pull my cavalry out of there. Plus the enemy SPQR general has sent in infantry as well there to neutralise my cavalry attack. Okay, so our Carthage ally here is still engaging some of the Macedon pikemen there. But you can see there's SPQR infantry and Seleucid pikemen there. And we've got extremely battle damaged units, but I'm bringing my Scipii troops across. And the time to be defensive now is gone. If ever there was a time in this battle, it's time to attack. Luckily, some of my infantry have still got pilers left. I'm throwing into the enemy team. Those Seleucid pikemen there, I'm attacking the rear of that Seleucid pike unit. Some of the enemy SPQR infantry are starting to rout. Remember, we here are Carthage, Greek cities and Scipii. Okay, so Greek cities, Carthage and Scipii is our team. Just taken out the enemy SPQR general. Okay, let's just pause the game for a second. So as you can see here, we're all extremely battle damaged there, and that's all the troops we got left there, but we've managed to rout, I think, most of the enemy troops there. Steve's got one 16-man unit left out of his entire Greek cities army, even with good upgrades. And look at that, look, Bart's got 14 men in one unit. I think he had 16 in the other. 22 men there, 9 men in that unit, 25 men in that unit. So that just goes to show how attritional this battle was. Really attritional battle there. Luckily, my Scipii troops have still got quite a few left in the units there. But as you can see, the actually intensity of the battle here, as you go up the dead line there, all the way through there, seeing all the dead, and then finally moving over to the left centre and left flank. Remember, that's where our left centre was broken. We had to throw in that massive cavalry attack and infantry attack there to plug the gap, to seal the breach in our battle line there. But it looks like our team has managed to go on to win this battle there. But it was an extremely close battle, I think, as you would agree. Once our left centre was broken there, I must say I thought the worst. I thought the enemy were going to pour through there, and I would have been on the left flank, maybe a bit isolated there from my allies. But as I say, we've managed to go on to win. Okay, so as I thought there, it would be a close victory there. So that's quite good. And if you notice here, can you see BARC has got the highest kills in the game, 1,918. So that's nice kills for BARC there with his Carthage Sacred Band unit. 1,918. And that old Roman army, mine, the smallest Roman army on the battlefield by far, managed to scrape in the second highest kills. So I'm pleased with the way that that old army performed there. So that was quite good. Steve and Legion probably didn't get the kills that they wanted, but they still did very well there. I thought Trajan, Brotherhood member Trajan, Brotherhood member ESRAX, yeah, well played to Brotherhood member Trajan there. Probably didn't get the kills he wanted, to be honest. 1,000 there. And then you got IOW ESRAX, got some good kills there with his Macedonians there, so well done to him. Brotherhood member Conan probably didn't get the kills that he wanted, and Lando with that 18 urban cohort army and 2 cavalry probably didn't get the kills that he was hoping for with those numbers. I mean, bearing in mind that, what was it, 428 pilots he could throw, he was probably disappointed with the kills he had there. But I'd just like to say really well played to Legion 22, really well played to Brotherhood member BARC, and really well played to Brotherhood member STEVELONGSHANKS there. Really well played, guys. I thought it was a nice bit of teamwork there from both teams. Some nice aggressive tactics there. Some nice, what I like to see, strategy and tactics there. Trying to draw. Remember when they were trying to draw our Sacred Band ally away from his allies there? Let's have a look at the battle statistics there. Right, my army there, can you see? That's my old army. I thought the cavalry kills, a little bit disappointed there with the cavalry kills. Don't think they're very good. But if you look at the infantry kills there, see, one unit killed 186. I lost 5 men to kill 85, 7 men to kill 93, 82 to kill 104 there. One of my units, look, killed 207. So the infantry got the best kills there, really. So the Spartan commander saying, hope you enjoyed this battle. Look forward to seeing you soon. Please leave a comment if you like. Bye for now.